Aroha mai whānau, the phone was beeping, so I had to change it. But, yeah, so a lot of the kōrero of Tāwhaki, he's looking for a wāhine, and or like a mother figure even. So he thinks he's travelling the dimensions. Now he thinks he's going from the third to the fourth to the fifth to rangi nui ka tika, rangi mataura, rangi naunau araki. But he starts to believe that death is a level 3 thing. And he starts to believe it quite strongly, and then a lot of his encounters, the actual everything's to do around death. He goes and meets a princess of a higher dimension. I'll break it down next time. But they've got to take part in the games, like Olympic Games type of shit, to win her hand. No? But every game that they play has something to do with death, and a lot of the contestants are dying. Yeah? And on the last game, they have to try and take out this giant ball, like up to a ball. But a puaka. But he sees the beauty in it, no? So he doesn't want to kill it. He sees himself, he sees magic in its eyes, no? So he wants no part in it, so he chills back. And the other contestants who he's like growing real fond of, they go in to try and kill it, and they get killed. And as he's chilling out for a bit, the ball turns at him and charges at him, and he goes to move out the way, and the spear comes up and it kills the ball. But as the spear goes through, he slows shit down. Like he's fucking connected to the elements and everything, and he brings it back to life, or stops it from dying. And another kōrero for that story, he goes around and brings the other contestants back to life too. And the princess goes, "Fuck, I want him." And he's like, "Oh fuck no." I want nothing to do. No, I've just realized I'm not even in a higher dimension. No, I'm still in level 3. I'm in a different galaxy, but I'm still in level 3. No? Still everything is revolving around death. And I'll break that down very soon. But so he goes into the deepest, darkest cave he can find. Because he figures his the local tohunga, his uncle, his auntie, his koro, his kuia, they were giving him a little bit of misteaching, eh? Like if they lied to him about that, or if they were not purposely, I'd say if they had been misinformed about that, then maybe they've been misinformed about Hine Nui Te Po as well. And that to conquer death, you don't kill her, you don't follow in Maori's footsteps. No, you meet her, you fall back in love with her, and he does. He's been searching for a mother figure for so long, and he realizes, fuck, that could be his mum. So he goes into the deepest, darkest cave you can find. So you go into a cave and you turn left, gets darker, turn right, turns darker, keep going for a bit, turn left, gets dark, until when you close your eyes, all those specks of light that you see, they fade into darkness, pitch black darkness. And so when you've got your eyes open and your eyes closed, pitch black, so the kōrero goes. But, and he starts to trip out. So this is kai po. So if you wanted to practice kai po, at least have the other elements with you, practice the 5 elements, kai ahi, kai hou, kai wai, kai whenua, kai ātia. If you want to practice kai marama, same thing, Get your wairua strong before you do that type of shit. Like, kai rā, which got me into this. Now I thought I had the full blueprint, I did it. I'll get into that a bit later too, like eating the sun. Now you need the 5 elements. Now if you want to do it right. If you want to put not fuck all stress on your body, I put major stress on my body. I like jump for things that I'm not ready for yet. Hence I lose so much weight. I'll get to that too. But Uh, So he goes into the cave. So the corridor goes for kaipo. If you go into the deepest, darkest cave and you chill it in there for a day or two, everything goes pitch black, you know. And then within 3 or 4 days, you start to make your own light. You can make a dot. Then you can make another dot. And then you can put a line in between those dots. Then you can use those sticks and start making patterns. Hey, make a triangle. Hey, tapotoru. Then you can like flip it over again, eh? And then you make if you wanted to make it 3D, te mangu, no? Which if you wanted to look into it, the Merkaba, te mangu, mahoro nui arangi, kubok te hydra. We'll get into that later, no? Like tuku, sacred geometry, whaitua is the sphere, and then all the plutonic solids. If you were to look at it, Metatron's cube, ruatau or ruamatau. We'll get into that later. So he goes into the deepest, darkest cave, and so that's like your whatu manawa opening when you're starting to be able to use those building blocks and do some god shit. And that's the whatu manawa opening. And so he had like a mushroom type trip while he was in the cave, which level 4, and then he walks out of the cave. And he thinks he's in Rangi Nui a Tamaku Rangi. He thinks he's in level 3, but then he can start to see all the plants moving. No? The plants are moving, they're talking to each other, and he's like, what the fuck? No? He was in full reliance of the plants. No? He was sustaining himself from the plants. No? He was climbing te aka. All he was eating was plants. No? And then, and next thing, his whole game plan, no? his whole tikanga, has all the rules that he lives by. If it's moving itself, you don't eat it. So then he can no longer eat the plants. So he goes from this giant. They like every description I've ever heard. Now, ever since I was young, if I heard like atua stories, if I heard Tāwhaki stories, if I heard Maori stories, now I'm all ears open. I could be doing anything, but fuck, if I hear someone talking about it, now I'm all ears. All the Tāwhaki stories, now he's a giant. Now he's fucking got all the power now, and which came from Hihiritanga. But when he steps into the level 5, he gets skinnier, because he's not sustaining himself. He's got no kai. Until he has another deep dream where he goes back, I would see it, he goes back into the cave now, goes back into the darkness, and Hine Nui Te Po starts talking to him. So after he wouldn't kill the boar, he wouldn't marry the wahine, he just goes into the deepest, darkest cave he can find. And then until everything goes pitch black, and he was afraid of the dark. Hey, so from all the Makutus, from all the horror stories, no? From all the misteaching that darkness has something to do with evil, and it doesn't. No? He was afraid of it. No? He knew that when he was older, he was going to have to follow in Maori's footsteps and try and kill her. Yeah, he was afraid of her. No? He knew her power, and he was afraid of it. So as he was getting deeper into the cave, he could feel the shivers going up his spine and everything, and held himself off from manifesting shit, thinking that something bad's going to come around the corner and thinking, hey, he held it off. He was rolling his breath. Staying in the now got deeper, and he said, sorry, hey, fuck, sorry, mum, I love you, no, fuck, I love you, thank you, thank you for having my back, you've always had my back, thank you, the light doesn't exist without the dark, fucking, thank you, fuck, thank you, and it just wrapped him up, She, like, fucking gave him a huge hug, and that's him fucking falling into the dreamland, And then when he walks out, he's at level 5. Can't eat anything because all the plants are moving themselves, and he gets skinnier. And then gets in communication with Hine Nui Te Po again, and she goes, meet Hine Moana. Hine Moana will sustain you. So you naturally think the Moana, Hine Moana, the goddess of the ocean. So he goes down to the ocean and starts trying to find something to eat. He pulls up the seaweed's moving. Then he pulls up the coral's moving. Every single thing he's pulling up is moving. So still getting skinnier. But he comes to realize this is after days and days and days, weeks, months, that when he's in the water, he feels good. He can feel energy when he's in the water. So every day he goes down and he's in the moana. And he starts to feel the water pushing up against him. The Hine Moana has a skin. And he can feel her skin up against his skin. And then as he pushes up against it, he can feel the tail end wrapping around his arm. If you're pushing this way, it's pushing against there, and then it's got a tail coming over here. And he starts moving up against it, which is bringing attention to his body. So same thing, fuck what I said there, carry it through. Anything you hold your attention on, you're sending energy to it. Think about your foot, you just send energy to your foot. Think about your knee, you just send energy to your knee. Bring your awareness to your skin, you're energizing your skin. So as it's doing that, that's one of the effects it's having. It's bringing his attention to his whole body, to his armpits, to his chest, over around his neck, to everything. The more he's moving around, it's like he's energizing himself at the same time. You can see it as Tai Chi, it's the Maori Tai Chi. But if you're and the thicker you believe it is, the thicker you tell yourself you're in some thick ass water and you're pushing through it, the more access you have to it. Yeah, so he realizes when he's in the water and he's doing that, then he's getting energy. But he realizes when he wakes up each morning, he feels like shit, so he runs back down to the water and he starts doing it. Until one day, he thinks he's in the water, but he was asleep, and he was sleepwalking. And he thinks he's in the water, he's got his eyes closed, and then he opens his eyes and he's like, fuck, now I'm on the land. And he closes his eyes again and he can still feel the water. He's like, fuck, man, he can feel the energy coming into him. Feel the energy coming into his skin. Now if there's a part of your body where you can't feel, like for my one it was always my middle toe. The one bang in the middle, I couldn't really feel it because it didn't have much consciousness there. There wasn't much Mauri there. So I started visualizing more and more, now I can feel it. Now I'm feeling energy to it. But he starts realizing, fuck, there's water in the air. And that's Hine Moana. Hine Moana is the water in the air. Tangaroa is the god of the creature, the father of the creatures in the ocean. Kiwa is the movement of the ocean. Hine Moana is the life essence of water, and it's in the air. Some kōrero goes that it was the first hoa rangatira, or the first wife of Ranginui. And that's just bringing your attention to fuck, he was in the air. And if you want to get scientific and you look into it, there's water in the air. No, there's hydrogen in the air. Now, if you grab two hydrogens together and oxygen, boom, it becomes tangible. You can see it, level 3. That's water, H2O. But there's hydrogen in the air, just a different form of it. Right? And like there's nitrogen in the air too. There's argon. There's heaps of shit. Now there's radio waves going through there, TV channels going through there, Wi-Fi signals going through there, satellite signals going through there. There's heaps of shit happening. But if you're holding your attention on emptiness, then that's what you're energizing. Anything you hold your attention on, you're sending energy to. If you believe it's empty for you. If you slowly layer it on top of each other, fuck, there's something else there. And if you're playing around, pretending you're in the water, visualizing you're in the water, touching all the particles of water that are in the air, all the gases, you're pushing through it, and visualize it being thick each day. Now you can use your body to program your mind, use your mind to program your body. Keep telling yourself, I can live off Mauri. So this is how it is for me at the moment. It's like I 100% believe I can live off the Mauri in the air. 100%. No, I believe it 100%. I don't need food or water. But that's my hinengaro, no? And even a couple layers down on my hinengaro, but my deep subconscious doesn't believe it yet, hence I still lose weight. No, I'm running off an old program. People die of thirst all the time. People die of hunger all the time because they're running off an old program, right? An old belief that they're sending their energy to. And that's a heavy fucking one, eh? Like a heavy belief that you need food and water to survive. You know, there's so many people who've been raised with it. It's a heavy ass belief. You know? We showed it to ourselves every day until it became real. How you take that program away or how that belief away, you just keep fucking showing yourself different every single day. You know? I am living off the Maori. I am living off the Maori. I am living off the Maori. That's my mind telling my body, and then use my body. Fuck, I can feel this shit. Now I'm doing the same exercises every day. And thank you, Ali Tom Alamin, bro. Thank you for sharing your daily. And I'm gonna share it on this post if you let me. Sharing your fucking qigong exercises. Hey, sharing your daily exercises. I'm talking about someone who hasn't eaten or drinking in 3 years. No? He's been practicing breatharianism for 20 years. No? And he's sharing it for free. And then when you become aware of the breatharians out there in every country, fucking ancient. It's an ancient thing in every country. When you bring your attention to it and you're aware of them, and you think about them, you're throwing it in front of you, and you're walking into it. It becomes fathomable. It becomes real. So, going back to a Tāwhaki way, kaiatea is clearing your mind. But kaiatea, another form of eating the spaces. If you close your eyes right now, I welcome you to do this. Close your eyes right now. It's pretty easy just to close your eyes. And so you can see the specks of light. Yeah? I explain it to people all the time. Kids can see it. Yeah? Static. Yeah, you can see static. If you can see this pitch black, realize for a second that there's a texture to it. No? It's not just complete black or complete grey or anything. There's a texture to it. No? There's specks. There's specks of something. No? And that's Mauri. No? You're seeing energy. No? Practice it with your eyes closed at first. You're seeing Mauri. That's not your eyes glitching. That's not you not seeing what do you call it? You're not seeing high definition. No? Your eyes glitching or some shit. And it's pixelating. You're seeing energy. You're seeing te wairua. You're seeing matakupenga. No? You're seeing ātia. No? You're seeing the structure. No? You're seeing it. And the more you bring your attention to it, you're energizing it. And until next thing you can see it anywhere. So first try practice it with your eyes closed. No? Try and see that texture. Try and see the pixels. Try and see the dots. So some people it'll be little white dots. Some people will be heaps of colors and shit. But there's fucking billions of them. And next step, once you've done that enough, practice it at night time. And when the sun goes down, go outside. Yeah? Go outside and look up in the sky and see if, especially if it's pitch black. If there's too many clouds, if there's too many details, it's harder. So same thing if you had like a pitch black background or even a perfect piece of white background. Stare at that until you can see some specks. There's something in between you. The next one is when the sun's going down at night, go into your bedroom and there might be like a book or something on the other side of the room. And if there's too much light and you can't see anything, turn off the lights, and realize, so you might still be able to see an object in the distance, but there's something in between you. Not just darkness, there's a fog. There's something in between you and the object. Yeah, that's matakupenga. That's Mauri. So then you start paying attention to the dots instead of the window, or the dots instead of the book, or the dots instead of the pumice. The more you pay attention to those dots, it gets stronger, until even the most detailed shit you're looking at. Like I can see dots everywhere. They are everywhere. And then when you can pay attention to the dots, and then you visualize you are in thick water or goo, and you're pushing through it. and you're looking at the dots at the same time, you can start to feel it now. Start doing it every day, you know. Little step, little step, little step. Just start doing it every day. Pay a little bit of attention to the dots. Set yourself 2 minutes a day. I'm gonna look at these dots. Do it every day, and you keep doing it. So you're like, yeah, at least I did that. You feel successful because you're doing it. Every day you did it, and then pick it up a bit. Start doing it for 10 minutes a day. When you've fucking mastered it, and then when you've mastered it again, you step it up a little bit more. Next thing, if you're doing those exercises, and I'll share these exercises with you. Fuck that magic. You can start to hear them. They sound like billions of little cicadas deep in your eardrums or around you. And they're there all the time. Perfect time to do it now because there's no cicadas this time of year. In winter, you might hear some crickets, but they sound like billions of cicadas. And those are, in my opinion, those are the bubbles that are rubbing up against each other. When we get into Tāwhaki, I'll explain the structure of it. It's like the flower of life. You got a bubbly energy around you. That bubbly energy is made up of your mum and your dad's bubble coming together, book, and then their mum and dad's bubble book coming together, and their one's coming together, book, and just every creature that was ever created, and that's in every one of your cells. That bubble, and all those pixels everywhere. That's matakupinga. That's the flower of life. That's the net of knowledge. Kahukura was not talking about the net to go fishing. No, he was talking about that net. That net of all your tupuna. And it connects you to everything that exists. And you have fucking access to it. The more you bring your attention to it, the more access you have to it. The more you believe in it. As I was saying before, if you tell yourself every single day that I can fly, I can fly, I can fly, I can fly, you will fly. The only thing holding you back is the doubt in yourself, which is the serpent. But you can sort that out. Love your body, love your mind, 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 love your body, love your mind. When a stress comes up, grab that motherfucker. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Pull the opposite in. Feel that one, 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 feel that one. Bring it together, be the alchemist. Start practicing these things. And if you want me to break it down more, I'll break it down more. Just ask. Now I'm just, as I said before, I'm just blatting out all this shit. On these other posts, I'm going to talk slower. But my auntie wanted me to get this out there today, so and freestyle it. So anything that pops into my mind, I'm just doing it. So one second. Aroha mai, I was just checking on Taku Pipi. But yeah, take control of these laser beams, take control of your attention. Learn how to shoot that energy around, because it is everything. Everything is relying on it. The government is relying on it. How I said before, Tāwhaki is a representative for physical immortality. And there's hundreds of them out there. There's hundreds of immortals out there. But the one we are on about is Tāwhaki. So his whānau, his tōhunga, they were trying to tell him that everyone has to die. That in this rare occasion, that anything that you hold your attention on, you believe in, isn't sending energy to it for some reason, which he knew was all shit. But so he was going through his life. So we're in the sludge, every belief is a limitation. So he was pulling off each belief, getting lighter and lighter and lighter. But he realized, fuck, I'm gonna die before I get anywhere near Maui. I'm gonna die before I start climbing Arangi Tuhaha. Surely, this is taking too long. There's just billions of beliefs. If you think you just got fucking 10 beliefs, fuck, you're wrong. No, there's billions of these motherfuckers. And it takes a long time to pull them off. But then he realized that they're all stacked up on top of one. the government, Babylon, the system, like government is just governing you. It's just and you got a government, the main government's in your mind, and it's governing you. It's slowing you down, right? It's keeping your revs down. It's governing you. They don't want you to ascend. The whole game plan went from E-O-E-I-O. No, you are God to you ain't shit. Because everything for you to be reliant on them, for a God to be reliant on something else, or on an item, on money. For a God to be reliant on someone, you got to convince them he ain't a God. You got to convince her you ain't shit. For them to move you around where they want you to move, and they are. They're keeping you in the paddock. They're keeping you going to the milking shed each morning for real. The only way they could do that is convince you ain't shit. No, you need us. No? You need this grocery shop. You need this grocery store. You need this entertainment. You need this shit. If you knew who you were, you wouldn't need it. No? You can partake of it, but you have no reliance on it. You have no reliance on it. So the whole game plan is to hold your attention. So, but he realizes that all these beliefs are all just stacked up on top of this one belief. And if he pulls this belief out, then it's all going to start falling over. His job become a lot easier. He was slowly taking off each belief one at a time. It's just taking ages. And if I pull this stuff, they're falling off me. And that whole one belief, every belief. So the government, Babylon, the system, is just a whole heap of bullshit ass belief systems. That they've taught you when you're a kid. All these belief systems that are holding you down, that are weighing you down. There's just a bunch of belief systems. If you pull this one out, they all start falling over. So what's this one? The belief that one day you are going to die. If you no longer believe in this, that all starts falling over. Every structure, every belief structure of this whole system is reliant on the fact you think you're going to die one day. It sticks you on the clock. They teach you this clock when you're a kid. You got to get this good before you get to this grade. You got to get this good before you get to this grade. Then they give you a few options of, these are what you can do when you get a little bit older. And then you got to get this done before you get to that. You got to get this done before you get to that. Now you're on a clock. You got to get all your sports done before you get to this age. Because your fucking knee's going to fuck up. You got to... And then we follow suit. That's the average, that's the average, that's the average. If you believe that there's an average lifespan for a human, you're reliant on it. Pull that motherfucker out. Let it fall over. And even if at the end of the day you died, you lived a way better life. You had all the time to smell the roses. You were in the now. Fuckers, you can feel that shit. As I said before, you stop that pendulum rocking. You can feel it. You can feel that energy. You can feel it. You can feel that wanting to come here. A thought just wanting to fucking come into your mind. That's beautiful. When you see it as energy fucking entering you, it's you hear it. It's beautiful. And that's how he did it. So he told himself every single day. I'm fucking youthing. I'm not dying. Every day I'm youthing. My cells are being renewed. Every day. Telling himself every day and using his body to do it every day. So an example of you show it to yourself every day until it gets into your subconscious, your whenga and becomes real. An example of that for me right now, I believe 100% I can live without food or water, but I'm still losing weight. It's fucking definitely slowing down because getting there, I'm starting to dream about it and shit. The only reason I lose weight because my deep subconscious believes I need it. Because I downloaded that program, but now I'm using my body to program my mind to program my body until it becomes real, until it becomes solid. So, this last little bit, how death is a level 3 thing, no? So, and all like we think when we're learning some deep spirituality, no, that's it, no, oneness, no, everything all joined into one, no, that's it. But so there's in Tāwhaki there's 3 base patterns, the spirals. There's heaps of spirals, but there's one that looks like that, or like that, you know, and it starts with that and it just keeps spiraling out. Connected. There's no break in it. No, it's connected all the way. Io. No, Io is everything that exists all connected into one. No? God. God is everything that, whatever you want to call it. Ja. No? It's everything that exists all joined into one. Every sound. Which is why Io was tapu. To say Io was tapu at one stage, because how can you have a sound for something that is every sound? How can you have a word for something that is every word? But so we know what we're talking about. No? So we're going to record it all right now. And level 3, it's everything. No? Everything all joined into one. Io. And then you go like that, you pull the motherfucker apart. Te wehenga or te werenga. The separation. They teach the separation of rangi and papa. How Tāne pushed apart rangi and papa to let through kiti o marba, let through the light of day, which we use to create everything that exists. Or they call it rauru, rāuru, the light in between, or rangi and papa. If you wanted to get more into it, ru is vibration, rau is like physical, like the positive, negative, a DNA strand. Like we'll get that on the Tāwhaki one. So that's the disconnection, the separation, and then pull the motherfuckers back together. Te hononga. No, there's an eye there. Or pumotomoto, the soft part of a baby's head when it's downloading. Or like how Ruamatau and Aitupawa met Tāne at the top of Maunganui and were doing karakia into his head, and his head opened back up and it started downloading again like a baby is doing. Now it's downloading, it's in direct contact with the other dimensions. Or when Tāne gets to tiri o mātangi and looks up, no, pumotomoto, no. But te hononga, the reconnection, no, the realization that one doesn't exist. Rangi and Papa, well, that one never happened, no. Rangi and Papa are still connected, no. They're still connected from what I said before, that matakupinga, your bubble, and all those bubbles are all just linked into each other. And you can see it, the dots, you can see it, you can feel it, no. You're connected, no. There's no gap. There's no gap in between me and the ahi right now. There's no gap between me and the flu. There's no gap between me and the particles of water in the air. No, there's no gap at all. There's no gap between me and you, you know? We are connected, no? We are the space. We are Atia. We are Matakupenga, no? Rangi and Papa are still connected. You're connected to everything that exists. The birds, the trees, the bees, everything. The aliens, every dimension.